Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another very unwelcome edition of Rasslin, the Mystery Wrestling Theater 3000 crew. I'm Rich. Yep, he's Dave. I'm trying to think where to point one of these ways. One of these days, I'll figure out where the camera is. I think I'm on the left-hand side. I don't know. But we've got 10
Depends on which
topics.
screen you're watching.
I've got 10 topics of sinning for everyone. Am I right, Dave? We figured out 10. We had to keep it to 10. You know why? 10's a good number.
And given how broad these 10 are going to cover, odds are, as our listeners, you qualify for one of them.
Yes.
We're going to go ahead, jump the shark, kill our subscription base.
Early.
Right from episode 2, we're going after the sins of the fans.
Woohoo! We're all sinning. Heading down Salzona. Sin wagon. Aren't we, Dave?
Yep. Better than the Botchamania bus.
Oh.
That thing went off the wheels 200 episodes ago.
And it had such a good run. Oh well. Since we're on the sin wagon straight to hell, everyone should know how this works. Ourselves, we're not free of sin. Nothing is free of sin.
No movie is without sin.
No wrestling is without sin, and no wrestling fan was without sin. None of us are. So, without further ado, let's go to sin number 1. Number 1. And this is going to be our quickie sin, number 1, by the way, folks.
Because they don't deserve much publicity.
2 minutes or less, yard tards.
Yep.
What can I say about yard tards that your local EMS crew hasn't? Do you know why the WWE has the disclaimer, kids don't try this at home? It's because of you faggots, that's why. It's because of you. I'm gonna do stuff off of my trampoline or in my backyard or hit my friends with a stop sign because I saw The Rock hit Mankind with a chair and it was cool. Stop it, stop it, stop it, fucking stop it. Stop.
Yes, folks, for every yard tard that rationalize his lame-ass videos with, well, Mick Foley started as one of us. Yeah, the difference is, and he
went
admitted
to
in his book,
school.
Yeah, that he actually filmed it like a movie with special effects, and he actually did it safe. He jumped onto a super thick mattress, not jumping off the trailer.
That shit.
It's like this. You and your buddy.
Go do some MWTs. They'll beat the shit out of you for $40 a month.
You want to sit in your backyard and beat the crap out of each other with amateur done, reverse engineered after watching it over and over again wrestling moves. Fine. I would never tell you not to live your personal life in the comfort of your own home, but don't film it. Don't ask other people to watch it, and don't think you're being entertaining.
And don't put that shit on YouTube.
Well, yeah, because if you don't film it, you can't put it on YouTube.
Right. Just don't film it, period.
That's why we have to move on. The more you talk about yardards, the more you end up thinking like them.
Right. 2, speaking of thinking like them, or 2, For you British folks, I just flipped you off.
Yeah.
And I meant to. Fucking smarks. Every one of you smarks. I don't give a shit. If you think you know more than wrestling.
I believe it was your buddy and my hero Al Snow who put it best on his guest booker DVD. If you think you're a smart fan, you're not a smart fan. Because if you're a fan, you're not smart to the business.
No.
If you're smart in the business, you're in the business.
Alan Sarvin's wisdom, everyone.
Now, granted, I'm paraphrasing because I may
Yeah.
have gotten a few words off there, so
You're pretty close.
close enough for par. But yes, folks, I don't care how many times you read what you think is the Holy Bible of backstage wrestling gossip.
Meltzer.
I don't care how often you can successfully predict results. You are not smart to the business. You are not smarter than the business, because if you were
You would
smarter than the business,
you would
not vice versa.
slow clap.
Golf clap.
Yes, golf clap. There we go.
Too loudly there. Somebody might be putting.
True, true. Marks, you're not. Just because Dolphins thinks he's got inside information on who's going to win the pay-per-view this week, I would like to sing you something from the masterpiece of Philly. Nobody cares. 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 How was that, Dave? Yes. Now, number 3. Mark ass tricks. Oh.
You go ahead and lead us off on this one.
People are like, what's a Mark ass tricks? Those people that believe it's the gospel. I heard this rumor about CM Punk that he's coming back. That's a Mark ass trick.
Or to update it, oh my God, CM Punk may or may have been contacted by TNA. Folks, if you know anything about CM Punk, you'd know that
He hated TNA.
if they do send him a voicemail, reply would be to go to downtown Chicago, order the greasiest, nastiest question mark deep dish Chicago pizza, and record the noisy, toxic waste bowel movement an hour later, and send that to Dixie as his reply. Because yes, the only thing Punk likes more in the wrestling business, and we know this is true because he's gone on reviews saying it, you can find the videos. The only thing he hates more than putting up with people like Triple H and his ego is TNA and his run there.
Oh, yeah.
Which, as we've pointed out before, folks, about the only highlight of which is
thing. That's a good thing. I'll pay DDP later.
Yeah, I was about to say, he prefers. But yes, the people that believe everything they read on the internet. Because it was on the front page.
Especially with a name like Raja. Welcome to Circle K, or welcome to 7-Eleven. How do you like your Slurpee?
Would you like to try our new chutney Slurpee?
Which leads us to the trick-ass marks. Oh, God.
Yes. Specify for our fans the difference between a trick-ass mark and a mark-ass trick.
Mark-ass trick believes everything on the internet. Trick-ass marks are the dumbasses putting it on the internet. They're the ones who saw CM Punk eating a steak with seen TNA.
Yeah. They're the ones who can't decide between themselves if Billy Gunn has heat and that's why he's not allowed to be a full road agent, or Monty Sop there and go, seriously, dude? Cute Kip? You sidekicked to Angelina Love? Why am I taking career advice from you?
Who has more plastic on her face than I've got in my wallet.
Let's face it. When you're playing second fiddle to a woman
the beautiful
who thinks,
people.
No. To Angela Barbie girl, you really should think real hard about
your life choices.
How valuable your advice is. Yeah.
Don't let this shit happen to you. Ever. Ever.
And we're not even getting into his tights.
And I'm not even going to sing the theme song either because I don't want to. Because then I'll start.
Remember, if you're a trick-ass Mark, you're probably posting online
at lordsofpain.net.
Yeah.
At lordsofpain.net.
True. But specifically about the fact that us ripping on Billy Gunn in this video is proof he's heading on his way to TNA because he's on the outs with Triple H. Oh, wait, he already did that. Ah.
How'd that work for him? How'd that work for him the first time, you mark-ass tricks? Oh, wait. It didn't.
Well. Hey, as long as Christian doesn't go crawling back.
Oh, couldn't you just imagine those brand loyalty douches that... Wait. Is that a segue?
How about a segue?
It is a segue. You could say it either way, folks. Segue, segue. Way. So let's
the third way was Sega.
only if Doob was in the room. So, Dave, did you get your Bullet Club shirt?
Fuck your Bullet Club.
God, Napalm's gonna be pissed at us.
Napalm's usually pissed at me.
So what else is new? Okay. Did you get your Battles del Mar shirt? Not even a Tanahashi shirt? God damn it.
Yeah. It's like
What?
this. You want to know why we call them brand loyalty douches?
Because they are.
Because you can have a favorite promotion, but that does not mean it is the only wrestling you should watch.
I believe you should
Sorry,
have
I
a
just had to work to make sure he didn't fall off his chair, because then I'd have to laugh my ass off for the rest of the show.
Yeah, I've had a few.
Yes. I will admit, there was a time when I was a younger fan, cementing my lifelong dedication. Because God knows I'm the last person that should be in a ring.
Once upon a time, long ago, when people wore pajamas and lived life low.
But yes, I was, as an aspect of the Monday Night Wars and their demand of loyalty, hardcore Team WWF. I, would have nothing to do with Nitro, nothing to do with Thunder. And after the fact, when the whole
When you kind of had to reaffirm everything, huh? Yep.
there we go, had a little hiccup, but I realized that my brand loyalty doucheness caused me to miss out on a lot of really good Nitro stuff, such as Chris Jericho and his 1000.
Armbar!
You know? Eddie versus. We do have the WCW tape library being owned by people that can afford.
Namely
Let's
Vince.
face it. Liking WWE the most does not mean you have to hate. Well,
Sycophant, and we get to make fun of you.
just like if you do prefer no, seriously, dude, don't ever Dixie Carter. Even Hulk Hogan shit. And he was being paid to walk out to a ring and talk. He didn't even have to do the leg drop anymore. And he got to be the biggest star on that show. And even he got tired of being that loyal.
He was tired of licking the Lotus pedal.
I've discussed that I have enjoyed attending TNA Live.
You have.
Yes. And I'll be honest. Since I have made an attempt to stay above brand loyalty doucheness, if Ring of Honor were to swing through my neck of the woods and I were able to get time off work, I would go, yes. I would go watch Ring of Honor, though I would probably be the asshole holding up the troll sign saying rehire Cornette.
Yep,
Mostly because, damn it, I could listen to James E. rant every night.
I'm going to call him out on this one. One of our frequent contributors at one time, Drezzy. sent me a message after he saw me at the show. He's like, I spent $25 to realize that the ROH I loved has died. We're covering you in a bit, by the way, Drezzy. Because you commit this sin and another one that we're going to discuss. No, and he commits 3 of them, doesn't he?
True. But, heck, I just admitted I'm up to 1.
Yeah, I'll admit that I was at 1. At least 2.
I have been a brand loyalty douche in my life.
I have been. I've also been a trick-ass mark. And I have been a yard tard. But I did get absolution from my first sin, the yard tard. And the trick-ass markness, I got absolved from that one.
The closest I did to trick-ass markdom was I did in an old eFed post results from a SmackDown I attended, since, of course, SmackDown is not live. I did post it in that eFed.
No, that's not so much trick-ass markdom. That's just...
Yeah, that's... Now, if I had, sent that to, say, Dave Meltzer, that might be a little different.
Yeah, that is trick-ass markdom. So,
yeah,
it's trick-ass mark. And we got the brand loyalty douches, and brand loyalty douches covers all spectrums. Japan douches, Lucha douches, America douches, America, Europe douches, Britain douches, German wrestling douches, and there's even some brand loyalty douches in South Africa. I bet you didn't know that, did you?
You will not speak ill of Power Udi.
No, that's Nigeria. I'm saying South Africa. The land of Adam Rose and Justin Gabriel.
I keep forgetting South Africa is a specific country, not just a region, like how you say the South of, U.S. South.
Right.
We don't have a state called the South. We just have a lot of cousins kissing each other.
Free South Africa, you dumb sons of bitches. Oh, wait. Lethal Weapon moment passed. Oh, I said we were getting to Drezzy, didn't I, Dave?
Yeah, we had to wrap up number 5, because that is the one that most of us sin for at some point.
That's the one.
Let us go into 6.
Oh, you hardcore morons. That's right. The hardcore morons. And
or previously mentioned Alexis Lurie would put it, hardcore morons.
Yes. She would.
Hey, shut your mouth. Wrestling ain't just like tubes.
Yep.
I really should have pre-written the rest of that parody song.
You should have, but it's a good start. We'll do it next time. We'll have a coherent. That's a good start, though. Wrestling isn't just light tubes. Which means, all you CZW fans, Big Japan Wrestling, little XPW assholes. Which, by the way, Rob
Black...
Yes,
I cast my bet on the background. Happens more often than not.
See, he's getting pussy, so folks,
Orange pussy.
That's a rare pussy too. So everyone has won. Well, that's pretty easy. That's someone who can't watch wrestling without someone getting thrown through light tubes.
If you have ever said that match needed more weed whacker spots, you might be a hardcore moron.
If you think that a man getting a bowling ball to his testicles is a match of the year candidate, you might be a hardcore moron.
If you think New Jack has gotten soft and needs to go back to his roots when he wrestles, you're probably going to end up in jail right next to him. And you're also a hardcore moron.
Oh, yes. Now, before we have New Jack showing.
I would like to tell New Jack that this was all for fun, and please don't go look up my address.
Don't look up New Jack. I'm heavily armed and I'm a veteran, so don't push your luck.
Not so much me, but I have been known to cry and make people feel really awkward when they try to beat me up.
Exactly. So.
Love her like a schoolgirl.
You might want to keep that pose, Dave, because it fits in our segue. It really does.
But to wrap up, before we segue too much,
CZW is
what got so many hardcore morons started, folks. And in a way, this also segues into some of our other sins later. I'm sorry, hardcore morons. You cannot hold up the Holy Grail that Philly, as Heyman himself has said, it was a three-ring circus. It had everything, not just flaming table spots. You asshole.
ECW. Oh, sorry. I was doing a silent chant for everyone else at home that's probably doing the same silent chant. Fucking stop it. Dreamer said stop it. You know why he says stop it?
Dreamer refuses to say stop it.
That's the only way he's getting his paychecks these days, isn't it?
Yeah. Shane Douglas will tell you to stop it if you go up to him during his day job and do that. Because, damn it, those holiday Barbies don't stock themselves.
No, they don't. And also, by the way, quit doing the ECW chant to Ian Rotten at Taco Bell and quit asking him when the next IWA Mid-South show is.
Because
he doesn't fucking know either.
And because most of us would prefer there never be another IWA MS show.
Ever. I'll take
Ever!
I would take XPW over IWA Mid-South.
What about Wrestling Society X?
Fuck. That is...
Hardcore morons.
Yes. Yes, Dave, I know. There's so many wrestling organizations that I watch, but I bet you've never heard of them.
Yes, but let's be honest. Come on. Everybody knows the real wrestling fans don't go to that sellout site. You're not a real wrestling fan unless you get your obscure Lithuanian wrestling promotion videos off torrents from private wrestling message boards. Too thick or not thick enough? Or was that just right?
That was just right. I almost thought you were about to break into a Cockney accent, talking about his ex-wrestling torrents back in the day.
Back in my day, we got on that line wire because if you didn't get at least 3 different viruses,
you weren't watching
from your
wrestling.
Legal download of old Mid-South wrestling, then you weren't a real fan, you wanker.
Alright, Dave. Let's just get this one out in the open. Because we're talking about those hipster jackasses. And in fact, Dave, I think we can sum this up in 3 words. Can't we?
Yes. Those 3 words between you and me this time because
He doesn't
I
need
want to make sure.
publicity.
I want to make sure we have a high enough viewership before we
Let them in on the joke.
don't just flame, but flame with oil.
Speaking of things you want to set yourself on fire with.
But yes, the hipster jackasses.
Yes.
The people who, no matter who they're talking to, insist
They know more than you.
they watch the only real wrestling there is left in the world. The hipster jackasses can never agree on a promotion.
Because everything else would be uncivilized.
And yet they have civilized debates when you get a honor is the only real wrestling left versus a hipster jackass who says, if you're not watching pro wrestling, Noah, then I don't even know how I can speak to you.
Noah's went down the shit. Noah got his head cracked by Bison Smith. That's how.
True, but New Japan's the big name. They're the sellout. You can't be a hipster if you're quoting New Japan.
Which, by the way, a quick guide for everyone that doesn't understand Japanese. Let me spell it out to you real quick. Okada is Stone Cold. Tanahashi is John Cena. Shinsuke Nakamura is from another planet. And Hiroki Goto is tougher than you and probably will come to your house and slaughter you. But he's a nice guy. See, Dave, did I sum it up for you pretty nicely?
Yes, but you forgot one little aspect.
What's that?
And if you think you're tough, go ahead and call Great Muta an old man. See how far that gets you.
I'll give you a hint if you get a knee upside the head. You have won the prize! Oh, and if he sprays mist in your face too, that's a sign of respect from Muta.
True, but make sure to taste it first, because if it's a sign of disrespect, it's not mist, but it is something Japan is noted for spraying in faces.
Oh.
Pixelated even.
Bukkake, anyone? Because if we're talking about Bukkake, we've got to talk about the Ring Rats.
Yep. Now, granted, they are a fading sin in wrestling, as young wrestling men prefer to
Sleep with
jump
wrestling
on their
whores.
iPods and check to see if their match that night is already being discussed by gas marks on Wrestling Observer. But you will still find a few who weasel their way into hotel rooms and will sucky if you let them steal your spare pair of jeans. Hey, those jeans were worn by a champion.
What we're trying to say is that John Cena is not going to sleep with a ring rat.
Well,
The
a
Bellas
ring
are
rat that's not officially employed by WWE, sure.
and they have employed a few. But let's just say the Ring Rats is, as Dave said, a dime.
Split-legged entrance?
Yes. Shitty Uggs? Shitty Uggs? Yes, very shitty. And she could actually tell you Batista's dick size, too. She will be the one with the golden ticket. She will answer the great question asked to every idiot on RF video. And the
Yes,
question
saw that
is,
rant too.
the question, the square root of 4 is 2. 1 meter equals 6 feet. How large is Batista's dick?
Yeah. Besides, anybody who reads wrestling biographies know Too Cold Scorpio's the one with the big schlong.
There you go.
I mean, come on.
There you go. Scorpio wins, which, if I ever hear any of you referring to Philip Jack Brooks, I'll slap you for him. You don't have to worry about it, punk. We'll do it for you. We'll slap him for you. Or anyone that refers to Scott Levy or Scott Colton or Wayne Keown or Richard Fleer or Aurelian Smith Jr. Step forth to the line. Kanji Inoki, also known as the great Antonio Inoki, has a present for you.
Yep. Let's face it, some guys, they get away with using their real name, Bret Hart. Some guys go half and half. Shawn, yes, I know Hickenbottom's going to get my ass kicked in school, Michaels.
And then there's some people that don't need to use their real names ever, Monty Sop.
And then there's guys that, no, seriously, you're not going to go up to him, to his face.
How you doing, Mark Calloway?
You caught me.
That's how he's doing. That old man in the bowler's hat is still strong enough to choke slam you straight to hell. And I'll laugh at you when he does.
Now let's face it. We do have to clarify here, because you and I have discussed this before, if not officially on casts like this and the classic MWT.
Yeah.
We have certainly discussed it off camera, but look, if you are referring to something the man behind the character does, fine. We'll let you just once get away with using a real name, saying, hey, Glenn Jacobs was caught spanking it to child pornography. That's fine, because Glenn did it in the privacy of a hotel room. He forgot to pull the curtains on. No, he really didn't. I'm being hypothetical, folks. Don't post that on Raja, you trick-ass marks. On the other hand, if you're talking about what Kane did to John Cena on Raw, you call him Kane, you assholes.
Yes. If you're referring to, in essence,
looks actually on the porch after Reno leave.
let's say, no, that's all right. No, or let's say in court documents, Aurelian Smith was arrested on charges. Yes, Jake the Snake has had many charges. In court, they're not going to refer to him as Jake the Snake Roberts because, by law, they can't.
True.
But, you know what I mean. And of course, folks, Diamond Dallas Page is Paige Falkenberg. His ex-wife kept the name. She's Kimberly Falkenberg, but they are DDP and Kimberly Page. Roll with it. Or Goldust is Dustin Runnels. He says, yes, that's my name. But for the love of God, have some respect and don't be a Lemuel.
Yeah.
Which, one of these years, if we run into Dustin, we ought to get him on camera and say, you know what, explain what a Lemuel is for everyone else at home that doesn't get it. You real name assholes, Dustin pegged you right, you're Lemuels.
Yep, because knowing a guy's real name does not make you a smark. It just means you know how to use Wikipedia.
And we all know how correct that is. Wikipedia can be changed daily. Hell, I'm surprised some of those wrestlers aren't on there daily, fucking with you.
I'm pretty sure that given how much he loves the internet, Zack Ryder's probably the only one updating his wiki page.
Well, he doesn't have anything else to do, not like he's even on fucking NXT either, so.
Woo woo woo, you know.
Yeah. So, Dave, do you also get sick of those people that were like, well, back in the Attitude Era, this, or
Yeah.
back in the Rasslin wrestling era, this, or back in the Territory days, this, or back in the, fuck you.
Yeah. Back when it was the WWWF under Vince McMahon Sr.
Even Bruno had to put up with that shit.
Yep.
Hackenschmidt and Gotch were the gods back in that day. And then Hulk Hogan had to hear, well, and Bruno's, well, no, he had Backlund before him, didn't he?
Yeah, but not by too many years. Remember,
Well, Backlund had a 4-year run too, if you remember. About a 2 year.
but Backlund was still, he was still around during Hogan's early run.
But there is a story behind that one. We might do an optional extra if we don't run past an hour, and we're not because we're on the last sin. But anyhow, yeah. Every era has a back in the day. And you want to know something, folks? Wrestling goes in a cycle.
Yep. Let's be honest. Give it about another 10 years, and you're going to have guys posting online about how things were so much better back when Super Cena was on top. Simply because
It's
that
what they
was
grew up
the
with.
previous generation.
To them.
And this is a phenomenon that goes beyond wrestling fans. It is so prevalent that Penn and Teller had to spend 30 minutes pointing out how bullshit it was. But rose-colored glasses for nostalgia.
Oh, and back in the day, assholes even formed their own party for political purposes. It's called the fucking Tea Party.
Yeah, pity none of them were alive that far back to realize, dude, life sucked back then.
They were like, I liked it back then when back women were barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen and them there Negroes were in the... Shut the fuck up, Grandpa. Just shut the fuck up.
Unless your name's Zeb, then, we'll
You're
let you
fine.
talk. But yeah, you're fine, but only if you're wearing your fishing vest.
And got that Yosemite Sam going.
Yeah.
That's
We don't want you having Dutch flashbacks. That's
oh god.
going to be bad for anybody with a vaguely Mexican name.
Pretty
Oh
much.
crap! Dutch thinks he's still back in Puerto Rico. Hide Sin Cara.
Yes, folks. Dutch was highly pissed at Carlos Colon. So anyone with a remotely Spanish name that was even near Bruiser Brody got it.
Yeah. Look, I was watching wrestling back in the Attitude Era. I never quit watching. Yes, there was a lot of great stuff in the Attitude Era.
There was a lot of shitty stuff in the Attitude Era too.
Yes.
Right to censor. You folks forget, right to censor was in the Attitude Era.
Tiger Jet Singh, not only but convincing half of the headbangers and everyone's favorite living bobblehead.
No, that was Tiger Ali Singh.
Tiger Ali, excuse me. That's right.
Tiger Jeet Singh was more my older brother's era. And
Yeah,
even
he was the daddy of that Singh film. Yeah, Tiger Ali got a white boy metal fan headbanger and the nation's favorite living bobblehead to pretend to be taxi cab drivers.
call themselves Lowdown.
Which I always found hilarious that a stable run by Mr. Ali Singh took its name from D'Lo's finisher. Clearly, we knew who that group was meant to get over.
Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying?
I remember before the Attitude Era, as a young man, before I took a break from wrestling for a few years and came back as a dedicated fan, seeing Jake the Snake Roberts
Oh.
tie up Macho Man at his wedding reception and sick the Cobra on him. And yes, I marked out. On the other hand, we also had people like Barry Horowitz.
Yes, that was me.
Era.
Yes, folks, that was me DDTing my couch cushion. Why? Because every time you refer to Jake the Snake, it is mandatory to DDT something. Because the DDT was fucking cool. And now it's reduced to a standard move. It's like, fuck you people.
Yeah, Raven did a lot to bring it back to notoriety, but
Even Drew McIntyre was starting to bring it back to notoriety. And then he married the wrong piece of blonde pussy.
Yep. Then he ran into
The hot mess.
Embarrassed for you. Creative has nothing for you. Creative is embarrassed for you.
Like, holy
We
shit.
no longer want to spend time thinking about how to push you, Drew.
We don't know how.
Oh no, that's the sad thing. His initial run as the Chosen One went
great.
beautifully. It was when they stopped that whole thing. They never really figured out how to bring him back up. Going back to our final entry, every era had a lot of great, a lot of crappy stuff. And it's easy to remember the best stuff and thus forget that most of it wasn't that good. Remember, for every Rock promo, you had to sit through Ken Shamrock attempt. I'm in the zone!
Or you had to see Steve Blackman attempt charisma.
Hey, once they put him in the hardcore division, he made it work. Again,
Or
that was also post head cheese. When you hang out with Al Snow that long, it's gonna rub.
Get a little after that. So, folks, that's 10 sins that us wrestling fans commit. We could have had more. We could have had. It sounds important.
Yep, and more importantly, fuck you, David Letterman. You can't trademark everything.
Right. Kind of knew this, but you slightly knew this. Backlund was the champion. Way before Hogan, you were correct. There's a reason why Backlund lost to the Iron Sheik. Sheik wasn't supposed to be champion ever. But Backlund
Well,
had
there was
pull.
no way Hogan was going to beat Backlund and be a face.
That was one, and two, Backlund would not give up the title because he didn't believe in giving up the title to someone that was not a legit wrestler.
Yeah.
Now, everyone's like, "What do you mean he wasn't going to give up the title to Hogan? Was he pushing? Was he trying to kill Hogan's push? No. Let's talk about Mr. Backlund for a moment. Bob Backlund, much like
Best Hell
Kurt
in a
Angle.
Cell promo ever.
Yeah, and much like Kurt Angle, he's a real wrestler. Bob Backlund is a legit collegiate wrestler. He was an amateur wrestler. Arnold Scotland was just with him to do promotionals because, I mean, back then, Backlund couldn't talk as well as he does now.
Hard to have the crazy grandpa gimmick when you're in your 20s.
It is.
Doesn't work.
So, in a way, did wrestling change Backlund, by the way? No, not really. Backlund was always off. Backlund's the smartest guy in the room, and he knows it.
Yep.
Does it make Backlund an arrogant prick? No. You do have to know your presidents. In order. In order. You do have to know your presidents. By the way, I'll give you guys a pro tip. Groveland is in there twice. Grover did something no one else ever did. He had 2 separate terms, which means on his second term, he could have served another second term. He could have officially done 3 terms.
True. That is the loophole. Although, wait. Wasn't he in there before we had that amendment anyway?
He wasn't. You get the idea.
Sure.
Current now, he could have served 3 terms.
Yeah. Oh, there's that. But
Yeah, Franklin Delano Roosevelt served 4 terms, and he died in his 4th term as Harry S. Truman. So,
yeah. After we dealt with Harry Truman as president, Congress kind of went, oh, fuck no, we're never creating this situation again.
2 terms. 2. 2. 2's all we're going.
Yep.
2. Washington was all right with 2. Adams was okay with 2. Teddy was okay with 2. 2. Well,
And the
Teddy,
reason Washington wanted to stay with 2? Because he just got done 8 years ago fighting a guy who was corrupt as hell because he knew he would be in charge as long as he was alive. And so George said,
nah,
no.
2 for me.
8 years is plenty. You go much longer than that, you're going to get people insisting you keep staying president until you die because they're used to you. And that doesn't make you a president, that makes you a king.
Cue current disagreements with Congress. Okay,
Yeah.
now. So, let's get back on a tangent, off the tangent, and let's get back on course. Because we're at 54 minutes now on recording. So, people are wondering, Backlund didn't want to lose to Hogan. So, who's the middleman? The Iron Sheik.
Yes. Another man with legit real-world wrestling credentials.
And he was the coach for the U.S. Olympic team. Backlund is like, they said Backlund, they were like, okay, do you want to lose to the Iron Sheik? And he was like, sure. He's like, Sheik and I go back. We were both in the Olympic team. Yeah, let's do it.
Sheiky, baby!
And say what you about the Iron Sheik. He may insult people. He may, say some questionable things. But we will give Khosrow Hussein his due. Yeah.
You can trust him on the mic more than you can Tom Billington.
Oh, yes. And Sheik was legit.
Yes.
And Sheik is still legit. I mean, it's kind of bad he's in his current mental state, but honestly, if Iron Sheik came up and said, "Hey, let's have a drink," I'm like, "Sure, Sheik, I'll pay."
Yep.
Yep, I'll pay, Sheiky. Let's just have a drink.
Just leave the Persian clubs at home.
Yep.
They scare.
But so he agreed to lose to the Sheik. Sheik held it. Do I want to say a few months? He held it at least.
I think it was about 6 weeks it was because he won it. Did what back in those days would be a quick house show run.
Yeah.
And then they spent a couple weeks where from Sheik and Camel Clutch.
Where
So
Scotland had to throw in the towel.
Yeah, and asked Hogan to basically take his rematch.
Yeah.
And the rest is history.
And there's another story behind that one too that the Iron Sheik has told. Was that Hogan had just come in, I'd want to say a few months prior as well.
Yeah, because they were
both AWA.
They had to make sure, that he was legit enough before they pulled the trigger.
Which both he and the Sheik were in the AWA, so they had met, Hogan and Sheik.
Burn Gagne.
Sheik money to break Hogan's leg.
Not just break Hogan's leg, but run at full speed from New York with the WWF belt.
This to Sheik's credit, I want to say Sheik is legit. He may be crazy as fuck, but he's legit. Sheik not only said no, he could after that because
Heck, Vince Jr. took care of him after that.
oh, he did.
Be honest, the only reason Sheik quit drawing a steady paycheck, Sheik didn't care anymore.
Right. So, for anyone that wonders why Sheik is so crazy yet crazy loyal, he was loyal back then, he'll be loyal now. Of course he'll insult the Hulk Hogan as the jabroni, but he does it out of good fun.
Oh yeah, because he himself had the chance to prevent Hulkamania,
And
but he knew it was best for business.
And yeah, he knew it, so it's at the point where Sheik could just go to Vince Jr. and say, "I want to show up on Raw just for a one-time appearance and get paid," and Vince like, okay.
Yeah. At most, you might get a moment of, you're feeling good, right? I mean,
You good, you're physically, you're on, you can make it.
you're capable of going out there physically, right? Yeah. Got good medicine now. Okay, that's fine. We just want to make sure,
Yeah, good, all good.
Because again, Vince cares.
Yeah, Vince is like, yeah, we good? Yeah, okay, we're good. Yaloi. Yeah. That's a lot of the reason a lot of these Legends contracts exist, by the way.
Oh yeah, a lot of them proved on more than one occasion that they would show loyalty to the WWE over short-term, self-centered benefit.
Well, except Hogan, he's been a revolving door, but that's here nor there.
But Hogan's big money, so
So yes, and also another funny story that Bruno has backed up as well.
All right, this will have to be our last one because
It
now we
is.
are pushing an hour.
We are. But yes, there was even a time when Bruno Sammartino was getting attacked by everyone. Bruno was nowhere near Shawn Michaels, by the way, as far as Bruno's always been a good guy. He's always been a family man.
Yep.
But someone somewhere always has to prove that they've got the biggest dick in the land. 3 football players went up to Bruno, tried to attack him. Iron Sheik, half lit, takes out 3 NFL players trying to attack Bruno. And everyone's like, wait a minute, this is bullshit, isn't it? Nope, Bruno went on record and saying, yes, yeah, Bruno himself, he's like, he tells so many tall tales, but that is not one of them.
God bless you, Bruno.
Yeah, Bruno's probably one of those people that are one of these days that if we ever got lucky enough to meet Bruno Sammartino, by the way, and that this is a little wrestling fandom, I would legitimately not turn a camera on or turn anything on. I'd just sit in a chair, just gather around him and just be like, alright, Grandpa, tell us stories. Alright, Bruno, tell us stories.
No, not the ones about David. We've sadly seen why he did not reach your level of success.
But
Sometimes you just can't get the dynasty.
yeah, Bruno's one that we would sit around the camp and to him speak. And he's not the only one. Other than Bruno, I'd like to hear Sheik talk. I mean, I'll admit, I'll listen to the crazy band. Talking about the Hulk Hogan's. And of course, Bob Backlund.
No, come on, man. You know the one.
Go ahead.
You know, you would sit under Undertaker's learning tree.
Yeah, I would,
And
actually.
straddled, what, 3 generations of WWF stars?
Yeah, I would.
He can tell you stories about Hogan. He can tell you stories about Austin. He can tell you stories about Cena.
And Shawn. And Triple
And
H.
Shawn. And Brett. And Mick. And Triple H.
And The Rock,
That's the
too.
point. You name any wrestler who came into the business through the WWF from 91 on, and Undertaker has fought them.
Yep. So, yeah.
He has been on the road with them. He can tell you about
Everyone.
what is real and what is rumor.
And Taker's just a fun guy.
And best of all, at the end of it, he has enough respect for the business to go, now if you'll excuse me, I have to go listen to Bruno tell some stories.
Yep. Or he'll be like, I'm headed to Bruno's house. You guys want to hop in the truck? That's like, yep. So yeah, that would be, yeah, that's what I want to tell people too. It's like, even though we do these wrestling sins, those above 10, you get to this last half, and this is the actual meat of it. This show is 2 friends and other friends just gather around talking bullshit about wrestling, because at the end of the day, we commit those same 10 sins we have once in our life, except the ring rats one.
Yes. Unfortunately, when you're in the stands, you don't get to take the rats back to the hotel room.
Right. Except the ring rats one. We haven't done that one. But let's face it, this is what it is at the core. Wrestling fans just bullshitting like wrestling fans. And it's fun.
Yep.
And when it stops being fun, we'll stop doing the show. But guess what? Hasn't stopped being fun yet, because all of you make it entertaining.
We recognize our sins.
All
We
right.
admit our sins. We admit they are sins. That is why it's fun, because we don't stand here and legitimately think that
We're above it.
if every match on a 3-hour show isn't 4 stars, it totally sucked. Worst show ever.
No. Every wrestler has their limits. Every show has their limits. Just enjoy the fucking show. Don't be any of those 10 sins, because if you are, we're gonna make fun of you.
And if you repent, we'll let you laugh with us.
And if you're Taker, Bruno, Iron Sheik, or Backlund, or hell, even Bret Hart, we'll gather around the learning tree, let you educate. It's like, well, shut up. Let you educate. So, that's all the show we have. But we'll do this again real soon because we've got to. I wanted to do the World Class Championship Wrestling Sin, but Dave said I should let my voice recover because doing way too much Fritz is not recommended.
Yep, World Class will be a show in and of itself.
And then all others from Orion have said Jerry Lawler is the low-hanging fruit. And he is. He really is. So, it comes with great sadness that we won't do the Jerry Lawler show unless it's part of a package. But don't worry, it'll happen. It's just not as soon as you think. Will we ever do Vince in a show? No. Why won't you do Vince in a show? Because, see, Jerry Lawler, it's kind of the low-hanging fruit. We know Vince is a sinner. We don't have enough show to tell you how many sins he's committed. But
on the other hand, he has enough TV time to tell you about his grapefruits.
He does. He's got money. So, everyone wants to know, what is the next sin that we're going to cover? All I got to say is, who's the sinner that we're going to cover? Just has to be home with his baby tonight. Supposedly. That's right, folks. It's J-E-F-F, J-A-R-R-E-T-T. How has Mr. Jarrett sinned?
Ain't I great?
Huh? Again,
Slap nuts.
how has Mr. Jarrett sinned? We don't have to tell you. And I'm not even sure that hour's going to cover it. In fact, Dave, we should start from the CWA all the way to GFW, shouldn't we? If we're going to do it right.
Alright, but we'll have to gloss over some things, because
Oh yeah, we're glossing over the irrelevant stuff.
I tried to watch Ring King, and it just
It was
made
bad.
me hungry for chutney.
And tandoori chicken.
My poor colon has never been the same.
And it hadn't. So, Dave, what song should we lead them out with this time? Let me think. There's a good...
No. Well, given that the theme of this show was the sins we ourselves commit as wrestling fans, I think there's only one musical way to end this. I drive really slow in the ultra-fast lane, while people behind me are going insane. We're all assholes.
Yes.